Hello there. There's no doubt now, Putin has ordered his tanks and troops into Ukraine. President Putin has done it. He sent his Russian troops into Ukraine. But he's now put the West in a bit of a quandary. Because the first thing Putin did was recognise two breakaway pro-Russian separatist regions of eastern Ukraine as independent states. He then sent his troops and tanks into those regions in the guise of a peacekeeping force. So that's another large chunk of Ukraine that has been bitten off by Russia. But what does the West do now? It will not use physical force of arms against Putin. But it has got plans for far-reaching sanctions. But if they go the whole hog with those sanctions right now in response to this partial invasion, then what would then deter Putin from going the whole hog himself and also taking Kiev? And if the Western response is partial sanctions, then what hurt would it really do to Putin's Russia? And there will be many, like Germany maybe, which is almost totally reliant on Russian gas, who will argue that those regions are pro-Russian anyway, so let's move on. Boris and his cabinet are meeting right now to discuss the options for the UK. Putin has acted aggressively, keeping the whole Western world guessing, and still now has control over the agenda. What he is engaged in is a salami slice operation against Ukraine, not over months, but over many years it seems. But now that Putin has control over the Ukraine regions of Crimea, Donetsk and Luhansk, there is a Russia, independence and Ukraine border dispute, something that makes Ukraine's case for joining NATO null and void under the NATO treaty requirement that no state can join if it has a border dispute in progress. The only way that could be resolved is if either Putin withdrew completely or Ukraine gave up all claims to those Russian-controlled regions. But it's the immediate response in the form of sanctions that will give the West a headache. How far do they go now to make it hurt while leaving something in reserve to deter him from invading the whole country or even going further afield? And if the West does sanction Russia to the hilt right now, would Putin call it an economic war on Russia and invade the rest of Ukraine knowing there's nothing left in the sanctions tank for the West to use? And what if he holds a couple of quick Russian-controlled referendums in those regions showing 99.9% support for their independence? And what would be Putin's response now if the West started to pour weaponry into the Ukraine army arsenal? So what's your opinion on Putin sending the tanks in? Please like and comment below. Please subscribe and like this video, buy a mug and support me on Patreon or PayPal, and thank you for watching.